the dream, but the silence feels louder than it seems. Applications sent like ships in the dark. No replies, no spark, no start. You think it's a paper, just words on a page, but it's a system to break out the cage. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried they're looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Worried they're looking at the years you wear, like time erased what you bring to the chair. But it's not about age, it's the way you play. Pushing yourself, lead the way, the way. Connect to the ones who make the calls, shake the fear, break the walls. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast, leave the doubt in the past. Get higher fast, it's more than your past. You're the go-to pro, let the world know. Get higher fast.
You scroll through hundreds of job descriptions, but they all sound the same. You spend so much time on every application, but it doesn't seem to matter. You send off application after application, but never hear back. You thought the interview went so well, but it's a no. You jump through all the hoops. The news keeps saying how there are all these employers that are struggling to find people to hire. So why does finding a great job have to be so hard? It doesn't seem very logical or fair. It's not. The system is broken. It's not your fault. The process most people go through to get a job is awful. But here's the good news. The system isn't very smart. In fact, it's downright dumb. It can be beaten. How? Most prospective employers and employees today are using the same old tired strategies that have been around forever. It's like professional camouflage. Everybody just blends into the crowd. But you don't have to be that way anymore. You can get traction. You can stand out from the crowd to unleash your God-given potential, to help a world in need, to do work that matters, to earn what you and your family deserve. You can do this. You're meant to do this. There are bright things on the horizon for you. This is the way. Welcome to the workshop. Get hired fast without settling, getting ignored, or losing hope. My name is Eric Woodard. I'm a high-performance career and leadership coach based out of Washington, D.C. And if you are here on this Tuesday, which is December 16th, 2025, I just want to really acknowledge you for being here. You know, as we get close to the end of the year, a lot of people, are like, yeah, I'm just going to wait till after the new year. I'm just going to sort of take my foot off the gas. And the fact that you're here says otherwise. The fact that you're here says that you're somebody who's not messing around. And I'm just so inspired to have you here. So look, my friends, I mostly want to find out who's here. So if you could put in the chat where you're from and how long you've been on the job search, because I'd like to know. And we've got a little bit of a smaller crowd today because it's right for the holiday. So this will be great. We'll have plenty of time for questions. I like giving stuff away. It'll be awesome. So how long you've been on the job hunt and where you're from would be great to know, because my friends, sometimes being on a job hunt can be a lot like pounding sand, right? I see there, Eric in Minneapolis, right? Sometimes it can feel a lot like waiting on a glacier. Hey there, Glenn in Washington. Hi, Kyle in Minnesota. Hi, Caroline. Hi, Carolyn and Jacob and Deborah. Hey, Andrew in Philly and Michael in Colorado Springs and Mike in Motown. I see a Mark there in Florida and Kevin in Boston. Sometimes it can feel a lot like wandering through the desert, Asim in London, or sometimes Morgan in Las Vegas. It can feel like going into an arena, right? Or even Mary Kate in, been 4 months for you, Mary Kate. It can feel like looking into an abyss. I see you there, Sue in Kansas City. Hi, Brad in Wisconsin. Mary Kate, I see you there, Brad, right? So who's this for? If you're unsure about the direction you want your career to go, if you've been struggling to find ways to describe what you do, if you're uncertain if your resume is any good, if you've been wrestling with how to follow up after you apply, if you're tired of applying and hearing nothing back, if you've been doing interviews that seem to go great and then you get a big fat no, if you're trapped in a job you don't like and you're really just not sure how to escape. And most of all, my friends, if you're losing hope, this is a workshop for you. On the other hand, if you're just kind of super casual about your career, not willing to do much work, sort of reluctant to take responsibility for the results you've been getting, really just interested in finding a job to make money, or stuck in your ways, and you sort of know all the reasons you've been having trouble in your job search. You know, it's the economy or your age or, you know, the people you know, and you're really committed to that knowing. If you're unwilling to be authentic, this may not be the workshop for you. So what you're going to learn today, how to get hired fast without getting ignored or losing hope. I'm going to give you 4 strategies, 9 tactics that you can put to work right now so that you can do work that matters and pays what you and your family deserve. How great would that be? Our agenda for today, I'm just going to tell you just a split second about who I am, where I'm coming from. Some of you have joined this workshop because you know who I am. You know about our program. You know, we help a lot of people get hired real damn fast, usually in 3 months or less. Others of you are like, who the hell is this guy? I understand. Again, 4 strategies, 9 tactics. I do have an invitation for those of you who have joined the workshop and who are like, I've heard about this guy. I know about his program. I've heard a lot of people have gotten hired real damn fast. The way this works is if you're interested in finding out more about the program, or you just want to get some great coaching, my team, and we've got Jessa and Jelly here today, they just dropped the link in the chat. You're going to book a call, a coaching call. The only requirements for the call are: 1, you're going to show up. You're not going to book a call and cancel. Don't do that. 2, you're going to be open to the idea of investing in yourself, right? You want some organization to pay you money, right? Be the change you seek. And 3, you're ready to get started, right? You're not wanting to wait around. So if that's you, you can book a call and we'll talk more about that. That's what it looks like to book a call. That's the link. And then we're going to have a little bit of time for Q&A. So here we go. So who is this guy and why does he think he can help me find a job? Well, folks, I'm kind of a weirdo. I grew up in Asia. I didn't come to the States till I was 18. I wound up transferring college 7 times. That was a trip. I wound up as a scuba instructor on the island of Guam in the Pacific. That was pretty fun. I spent about 10,000 hours underwater with the fish, right? That was pretty good. But after that, my brain got a little spongy. And I was like, I really got to pull it together with professionally. I can't just scuba dive the rest of my life. I mean, I suppose I could have, but it might've gotten a little boring. So I thought, what could be the most prestigious job I could have? And I thought, well, that must be something like the White House. So I took out a piece of paper and I hand wrote a letter to the President of the United States. And I said, "Dear Mr. President, you should hire me." And I mailed it to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And I'm like, I'm never hearing back on that thing. But about a month later, the guy at the Gone Post Office, he was like, "Eric, you got this letter from the White House." And I opened it up and it was in this cool White House envelope. I'd never seen it before. I opened it up. It was an internship application. Now, folks, I didn't know what the hell an internship was, but I was really good at filling out applications because I transferred college so many times. So I filled that out, sent it in. I'm like, well, that was a good use of a Tuesday afternoon. I'm never hearing back on that thing, but that got me thinking. I applied to some grad schools and I got into GW here in Washington, D.C. I sort of landed with this big bushy island haircut, was dumpster diving for furniture, bought a pair of running shoes, was out running past the White House one day. I was like, those White House bastards, they never even bothered to let me know about that internship thing. What is up with that? So I found a payphone. I put in a quarter. I called them up. I said, "Hey, you bastards, what about that internship thing?" They're like, "Is this Eric from Guam?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm in DC now." They're like, "Man, we've been trying to get in touch with you. You're supposed to start in the First Lady's office on Monday." I was like, well, that's pretty interesting. So I bought a haircut, got a suit, and I showed up. Right now, folks, I don't know if your politics match mine. You'll have to forgive me if they don't, but this was back during the Clinton administration. I went to work for Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was a great boss, right? Was an intern for her, wound up on her staff eventually, was with her a lot of the Clinton administration, followed her to the U.S. Senate, where we represented the great state of New York, then followed her to the U.S. State Department, where I did a bunch of UNESCO stuff, finally left Hillary Land, became director of fellowships and internships at the Smithsonian Institution, where I worked with all sorts of people, right? Figuring out all sorts of job stuff. Now I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of coaching. I've written a whole bunch of books. I have an outrageous number of very impressive pieces of paper, glowing testimonials, and you don't care about any of that. Because what you care about is, can I help you? I don't know, probably. Helped a lot of people, a lot of different industries, a lot of different levels, a lot of different organizations get hired fast. Let's see if we can help you. So here we go, my friends. 4 strategies that you can use to get hired fast today. Here's my first question. And I'm going to ask you to put this in the chat. And I like to give stuff away to people that get the right answers. What's a good resume about? Put that in the chat if you would, please. Let's see if nobody got the right answer last week. And this is actually the last workshop I'm doing of the year. So let's see if you get this right. You'll be the last one of 2025 to get the right answer. What's a good resume about? Put it in the chat if you would, please. Let's see if anybody gets the right answer today, because I would like to know who's going to get the right answer today. So Andrew says clarity. Glenn says results. Nope. Getting your foot in the door, says Sue. William says, tells my story. Not bad. The value you can offer them. Nope. Whoa. What is this? Serena Weissman. Hi, Serena. Hi, nice to see you. Right? Serena Weissman. Serena's got the right answer. She's right. It's the organization you're applying to, right? Mary Kate says succinct. Eric says, Asim says your skills. So Caroline, it's close how you can help the company. It's not how you can help the company. It's how the company can be helped. It's what's possible for them. So what Serena's understanding here is a good resume. And Serena, we're going to send you this course, right? This LinkedIn course. It's called How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. So Serena, we've got Jessa and Jelly helping us here today. They're going to make sure we send you this course, right? How to make your LinkedIn profile awesome. Because what a lot of you are saying is a good resume is about you, how even you can help the company. And that's close. How Morgan says how I can solve the problem. No, it's how their problem can be solved. Andrew says it's making yourself stand out. Nah, right? We want to be influential, right? With another person or organization. We don't want to talk about us. We want to talk about them. And guys, if you get nothing else out of this workshop today, if you get this will be worth your time, right? Good resume is not, and when I say resume, it's the cover letter, it's the transcript, it's a follow-up, it's your interview. It's not about you, it's about them. Sound different than stuff you've heard before? That's why this stuff works compared to the stuff that you've been doing that hasn't been working. Okay? Good resume is not about you, it's about them. So a lot of job seekers are walking around saying, me. Let me sell myself. Let me tell you about my skills and experience. Let me tell you why I'd be good for you. Don't do that. That doesn't work. Right? That doesn't work. Where's Jacob? Jacob was the first one to comment on this, right? Jacob's been on the job hunt for a while. If this is what you've been doing, this is why you're having trouble in your job search. Because employers are focused on themselves. And it's really natural and understandable that as a job seeker, we'd walk in and we'd start talking about ourselves. But do you see how that's opposite in polarity with what they're thinking? I'm the employer, there's the candidate. So if you walk in and you say, I'm the candidate, there's an employer, do you see how the polarity is reversed? You want to walk in and start talking about them. When you follow up, you want to talk about them. Your cover letter, you want to talk about them. Your interview, you want to talk about them. It's all about them. Hey, Colin D. Wow, you're an early bird. Colin D. booked a call. Nice job, Colin. Let's make sure we give Colin this course. Let's make sure, guys, we give Colin a copy of how to make Colin's LinkedIn profile awesome. Nice job, Colin D. Okay. And it's no wonder that we think a good resume is about us, because very likely the first resume we ever did was in school. And in school, it is about us. It's our cubby. It's our desk. It's our worksheet. It's our diploma. It's our transcript. And yet when we move to the working world, it's not about us. It's about the customer, the constituent, the client. All right, guys, we're just warming up here. Okay, I got another one for you. If I went to a library and I went to a shelf full of storybooks and I looked at the front cover of those storybooks, there'd be some words on the front cover of those books. What do we call those words? Curious if anybody gets this one right. Usually people do. What do we call those words on the front cover of a book? Right? Let's see here. So Jacob's got a question. We'll come back to you, Jacob. Right? But what do we call those words? Oh, it's actually, Eric, it's close, but Andrea got it right. Or is it Andrea? I think it's Andrea. It's title. So Andrea Watkins Cropper, we're going to send you this course, How to Make Your LinkedIn Profile Awesome. Very nice job. It's a title. It's a title. Now, isn't it interesting that that's the same term we use to label people in the workplace, which tells me that stories are really important, right? Let me ask you this question. What percent of human decision-making do you think is emotional versus logical? Put it in the chat if you would, please. You're so welcome, Andrea, right? What percent human decision-making? Is it 50-50, 60-40, 40-60? What percent of human decision-making is emotional and what percent is logical? Let's see if anybody gets this one right, because I'm going to give that course away. So Michael says 80. Nope. I see you there, Serena, right? I see you there, William, right? Caroline, let's see if anybody gets it right. Andrea, 85-15. Nope. None of these folks have got it right. So guys, actually, Serena, I would be sending you the LinkedIn course if you didn't already have it. It's because Serena got it right. It's 100% emotional. Human decision-making is 100% emotional. And the reason we know it's 100% emotional is when somebody gets their limbic system damaged, their capacity to process emotion, they're fine, except they can't make a single decision. And that's the debilitating part, right? Hey, Megan H., you booked a call. Nice job, Megan. We look forward to talking to you, Megan. Let's make sure we send Megan that course, right? And now look, when you got on this call, you made a quick decision about whether you liked my face, the sound of my voice, my hair, the music that was playing. It was very quick and it was all emotional. And now you're just rationalizing the emotional decision that you've already made. Now you're just gathering data. So human decision-making is 100% emotional. And the reason stories are so important is that's how we convey emotion. Stories are how we make sense of the world. So if you're not telling, right, Maya Angelou said, people will remember how you make them feel. Exactly. So if you're not incorporating stories into your cover letter, your resume, your follow-up, your networking, your interview, you're really leaving a lot on the table. For example, one time I was taking applications for a program and got one from this person named Maggie. And Maggie wrote how the summer before she'd been in a terrible car accident and her arm had been severed. Whoa, that's quite a story. So we brought Maggie into the program, right? It's getting close to the first day. I'm thinking, what is one-armed Maggie going to need? She walks in, 2 arms. Now it was bandaged from where it had been partially severed and reattached. And Maggie was doing some physical therapy. Maggie was going to be okay. Now, was I pissed off that Maggie had 2 arms? Of course not. I was so happy she had both her arms. And I remember how I felt. I remember to this day like it was yesterday. Right? If I asked, no, I always get in trouble when I ask this. If I ask, how many of you remember your phone number when you were 5? Probably some of you would like, there's always a few over there. Like, I remember. But a lot of you would be like, but if I asked you how you felt on your 5th birthday, you probably remember, right? Emotion, stories. It's really important in our job search, guys. All right, guys, I got another question for you. What's this guy's name? What's this guy called? I'll give you a hint. He lives in Idaho. What's this character's name? Who is this guy called? Yes, he remembers. I see you, Sue, right? What's this guy's name? He lives in Idaho. He goes to high school. There it is. I see you. Hey, long live. I see Eric Baltutis. Eric Baltutis, you got the right answer. Good job, Eric. So Eric is right. I see you, Mark and Deborah. Don't worry. And there'll be other questions. A lot of you are getting this right. This is so let's make sure we send Eric B that course, guys. This is Napoleon Dynamite. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with this fine piece of cinema, right? I don't want to ruin it for you. And for goodness sake, over the holiday, please watch this fine film. Hey, William P., you booked a call. We look forward to talking. Coaching call for William P. We look forward to talking to you, William. Good job. So make sure we send William the course, guys. So like Napoleon is a high school kid and he sort of beats to his own drum. In this particular scene, he's on stage in front of his entire school. He's managed to get a cassette tape up to the sound booth. It's starting to play. And Napoleon is now on the hook to do some kind of performance that he has not prepared for. So what does Napoleon do? He does the craziest damn dance you've ever seen. I mean, he metaphorically opens the kimono. It is wild. And when he's done, he's sort of panting and sweaty. And all of his classmates are like this, and then they burst into applause. And the reason it works is because it's so authentic. Jamie Kern Lima, the founder of It Cosmetics, says everybody's a good dancer if they commit fully, and she's right. And this brings us to strategy number 3, which is authenticity. People are going to hire you because of who you are, not in spite of it. People are going to hire William P because of who he's the most William there is. People are going to hire Glenn because he's the most Glenn there is. Same with Anna, same with Kevin, same with Mary Kate, Jacob, right? People are going to hire you because of who you are, not in spite of it. I don't know him. No course. Yeah, we're giving stuff away, Asim. So you got to be the first. We got other questions coming, Asim. Don't worry. Right now, I can hear some of you collectively saying, but Eric, what about the ATS? Right? What about, humans hire humans. Robots don't hire humans, and humans don't hire robots, and robots don't hire robots. And for those of you who are like, but I need an ATS optimized resume, how's that been working for you? Yes, there are systems, there are algorithms, they're all different across every organization. And the thought that we're going to know how they work is ridiculous, even if we could. Joshua B booked a call. Nice job, Joshua B. We're going to help you get hired fast. Okay? Like, there is no one unimatrix thing that, covers all computers. So the opportunity instead is stop worrying about ATS. There's a lot of people out there peddling ATS optimized resumes. Yeah, you don't need that. What you want is a them optimized resume, a human optimized resume, because a human is the one who's going to hire you. So for example, one time I was working with Nina, like trash those ATS. Yeah, I guess so. Right. So like one time I was working with Nina and we'd gone through her resume and I said, Nina, what do you like to do for fun? And she sort of hemmed and hawed. I finally got out of Nina that she had a pen collection. I'm like, well, that's super effing weird. We gotta put that. Oh, she's like, oh, no. I couldn't do that. So I argued with Nina for a little bit. And finally, about a month later, I heard from Nina and she's like, Eric, I went into the interview. We talked about pens for 30 minutes and then I got the offer. Guys, this happens with my clients all the time, right? So many people are trying to be proficient in Microsoft Office and they're just robots. Don't do that. Be a human. Give them more evidence that you're human. That's how you get hired fast. Nobody wants to work with a robot, especially in an increasingly automated. Hey, Brett T booked a call. Nice job, Brett T. We look forward to talking to you. In an increasingly automated world, people don't want to work with robots. They want to work with humans. So be a human. It's such a great, and look, I've got nothing against AI. I think it's miraculous. It's good for a lot of things. And for a lot of things, when it comes to job seeking, when it comes to creating a resume or stuff like that, you want your stuff to be more human, not less. Authenticity is your superpower. All right, guys, here we go. Let's talk about Abe Lincoln, who said, give me 6 hours to cut down a tree. I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. This brings us to the idea of systems. Guys, the results you're currently getting in your job search are perfectly attuned to your systems. And some of you are like, well, Eric, I don't have a system. Yeah, you do. Some of you have the system of, I'm going to worry about ATS. Some of you have the system of, well, I'm going to put the title of the job I'm applying to on my resume. That'll really show them because they'll see my resume, they'll see the title, and they'll think, wait a second, that's the title that we're applying for. That must be a good one. How's that system been working? Some of you have the system of, I'll put a big paragraph of stuff about myself without any context, an executive summary. How's that system been working? Guys, I already know, and I'm sorry. And those systems are getting you the results you've been getting. So the opportunity instead is to adopt a different system. This is the system a lot of you have been using. And I got to hand it to you, man. My heart goes to you because you got the sticky gear shift and the button, right? I mean, you've used every permutation of things there is. And you're wondering why you can't steer your job search to success. Here's what you don't know. This is the system that's available. Right? There's all kinds of levers and wheels and buzzers and stuff you don't even know about. So you can spend a lot of time and money, especially time, trying to make this system work, or you could just use this system and get your job search handled. Right? So that's what we're talking about. You want a system. So look, guys, how do you put all this to work? I just want to show you first. Hey, Agnes T booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Agnes. Free coaching call for you. So I just want to show you first that it does work. Right? These strategies I've offered you and some of these tactics that I'm about to give you, it does work. We're going to show them Angel, guys. And we got Jessa and Jelly helping us today. So golf clap for Jessa and Jelly. They're awesome. Right? Angel was somebody who came to this workshop, and it was a little over a year ago that she came. It was like in November she showed up, and she was worried about money. She's like, oh, I can't afford to coach and all the rest, but she believed in herself and she invested in the program, and here was her result. In the time we've got left, I'm curious, especially if there's somebody we haven't heard from yet. They've had a win, a loss. Angel, I got to ask you, what do we know, if anything? What do we know?
I got the
Whoa!
job! Yay! The offer. I'm moving in a week. Yeah, it's crazy. And I know when we first met, you're like, oh, like, let's get something by your birthday. And my birthday is in 4 days, so I was able to do it. Yay!
And I just want to acknowledge you. Like, you dove in, you did it, you did the work.
Thank you.
Way to go.
It would have been possible without like signing up for this program. Truly, I think it made the difference for me.
So good, Angel.
Yeah.
Really happy for you.
Thank you.
Super awesome. Congratulations to you. Yeah. Yay, Angel. Yay, Angel. So look, guys, as I mentioned, I've got a program. It's called Get Hired Fast. It's awesome. It does exactly what it says. The idea is we get you hired in 3 months or less. And if we don't, we stay with you until we do. And, it comes with a lot of one-on-one coaching and group coaching. And starting in 2026, I'm meeting with people 4 or 5 days a week. And it's amazing. Right. And so if you're interested in finding out more about that, or you just want to get some good coaching to explore what's going on with your career, you can book a call. My team's just dropped the link in the chat now, and a couple of you already have. So that's amazing. And there's also we've got an end of the year deal going right now. I haven't even announced it yet, but it's awesome. Yeah. So many systems, so much advice, recruiters, ghosting. Exactly, Dan, like all that stuff. William, I hope you can hear me. I hope the sound didn't cut out on you. Okay. So here we go, guys. 9 tactics. Well, Jacob, I'm not here to convince you of anything, man. This is to serve you. Hey, Stephen M., you booked a call. Nice job. Nice job. All right. So, guys, this is where the part of the workshop. I like to talk real fast because sometimes people watch this on replay and they have me on 2 times speed, and this makes the time 6 times speed. My friends, there's a lake. And in the middle of the lake, someone's drowning. Okay? Middle of the lake, someone's drowning. Now, they're surrounded by other people in little boats. Okay? So somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning. They're surrounded by other people in little boats. If this was a job search, who's the person drowning? Put it in the chat if you would, please, because I want to give some stuff away. So somebody's in the middle of the lake drowning. They're surrounded by other people in little boats. Who is the person drowning if this was a job search? Let's see if anybody gets this one right. Let's see who's going to get the right answer. Mark says me. I see there, Mark. Yeah. All right. Deborah M. Guys, do you notice what Deborah M just said? She said it's the company, right? I see you, Chris. Right. I see it. And Anna's pretty close too. But Deborah, you're right. It's the company. Now, a lot of job seekers feel like they're the one drowning. Some of you, and I can see from your answers right here, right? You see, if you're like, it feels like I'm the one drowning. No, you're not drowning. You're sitting watching a webinar or the replay of it. Unless you've got an underwater, video replayer, you're not drowning. Okay. Hey, Gary B, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Gary. You're the one in the boat. And this brings us to mindset. A lot of people are proceeding in their job search like, I hope they pick me. I'm the best. Right? Can you imagine if you were in a boat and you rode up to somebody and you said, oh, I'm the best. I'm the best. Really pick me. I'm really desperate. The person drowning would be like, I need help, and not from that guy. Right? Because needy is creepy. Right? So this brings us to the idea of mindset. You want to come instead from a place of service, not selling yourself. Right? Realize that you may want a job, but there are lots of jobs out there, right? There's only one Scott. There's only one Gary B. So you want to approach from a place of service, right? People don't want to be sold. Guys, selling people is creepy. Buying people is evil. We've gone over this historically. Don't do that. Daniel A booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Daniel. Right? So mindset. Here we go. On to the next tactic. Some of you know the show Deadliest Catch, right? Alaskan fishermen, they put these big steel cages, bottom of the ocean floor, trying to catch some crab, right? So sure enough, Charlie the crab comes along and he goes, I'm Charlie the crab. And he goes in there, he starts nibbling around, right? More and more crabs join Cheryl and Sally, and more crabs, right? And Charlie sounds like this, not because he's a crab, interestingly enough. That's just Charlie's voice. It's really weird. Anyway, more and more crabs join. And eventually there's no more bait. And more. So finally, Charlie's like, you know what, boys, I'm out of here. Charlie tries to leave. Here, hey, Michelle P., we look forward to talking to you. Nice job. Here's the interesting part, right? When Charlie tries to leave, the other crabs will pull him back in. They'll even pull off one of Charlie's crab legs, right? They'll even do a crab murder on poor Charlie, because crabs like to be with other crabs. And of course, the sad part is they all get pulled up to become dinner. Well, not sad for the fishermen. This brings us to tactic number 2, which is your environment, right? Very often when people join our program, one of the first things we help them with is their environment. And I'm talking physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, right? Social. Environment eats motivation for lunch. Some of you are like, well, I'm having a hard time in my job search because I don't have the right experience, or I'm too old, or it's the market saturated, or it's the economy, or just, hey, Jonathan A., not you, man, you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, right? This is what free coaching for Jonathan. And guys, let's make sure we're taking care of these guys with the free course, please. Right? That's nah, it's not any of that. It's your environment or the system that you're using. Very likely both. So the opportunity for you is to change your environment. And sometimes there's limits on that, right? If our family environment is one where they're saying, oh, just settle because they don't want us to get another no letter because they care about us. But you can mitigate it. Some of you may be idea with the idea of reference groups, right? You're the average weight, income, happiness of the 5 people you hang out with most. So what you're going to want is a community of people that are up to what you're up to. We have that in the Get Hired Fast program. A lot of times people say that one of the best things of this is they're not doing this alone, because job hunting is hard enough. Doing it alone is even harder. All right, guys, here we go. Tactic number 3. It's hard to hit a blurry target. This brings us to the idea of vision. Some of you know the proverb, where there is no vision, the people perish. You want to have the map before you go into the forest. Sometimes I'll talk to job seekers and I'll be like, well, how much money do you want to make? They're like, well, anywhere between $50,000 and $150,000. And I'll say, wow, you look a lot like Gomer Pyle. Thank you for noticing. I'll say, well, what do you want to do? Well, I want to help people. I'm like, that's beautiful, Gomer. And it's super effing vague, right? Bruce Lee said, be careful what you're telling yourself. Your body's listening. Our body will literally see what it's looking for. This is called the reticular activating system, right? If I say the color red, you're all instantly more aware of the color red just because I said it. So if you don't have clarity on how you're going to go out and help the world, or even what the world needs, it will be impossible for you to see it, and therefore very difficult for you to get the job related to it. Right? Mark A. booked a call. We look forward to talking to you, Mark A. Nice job. Right? There's a reason when race car drivers drive 500 miles in a circle that they don't look at the outer wall, because the car will tend to go where they look. So if you don't have vision, you're just like those race car drivers driving 500 miles in a circle. You're going to want to have vision in your job search if you don't already. All right, guys, I got another giveaway here. Here it is. If I went to a store and I bought this, what would I be buying? Put it in the chat if you would, please. I go to the store, I use my real American dollars, and I buy this. What would I be buying? Put it in the chat, s'il vous plaît. Let's see if anybody gets it right today. What would I be buying if I went to the store? So Andrea says a drill. Tanya says the brand. Mike says a tool, right? Anna says a hole maker. Close, Anna, right? Dan says a tool, multifunctional tool. Nope, says Chris. Nope. Nobody's got the right answer yet. Nope. What would I be actually buying? Okay, I don't see the right answer. Mark says convenience. It's not bad, Mark. But I'm going to give it to Anna. Anna Root. Let's have applause for Anna Root. That's great, right? Anna Root got the right answer. What you're actually buying is holes. See, I don't need this. What I actually need is a hole. So Anna, we're going to send you that course, right? We're going to send you the course, how to make your LinkedIn profile awesome, because you got pretty close, right? So I don't need this. What I need is a hole. Hey, Carlos, and you booked a call. We look forward to talking to you. Nice job, Carlos, right? I don't need this thing. I need a hole. And actually, I don't even need a hole in my walls. That'd be ridiculous. What I actually need is a place to put the hook. And actually, I don't need a bunch of hooks come out of my walls. That sounds dangerous. Gash my arm open. What I actually want is a place to hang the picture. And actually, you know what? I don't even want that. What I really want is the feeling I get when I look at the picture of my beautiful family that's hanging on the hook, that's in the hole that was made by the drill. And this brings us to giving them safety. See, a lot of people, maybe some people on this call up till now, are just spending a lot of time talking about themselves. That doesn't make anybody feel safe other than you. Other people are talking about the drill. And what we want to do instead, we want to talk about the thing that keeps them up at night when they're going to bed, trying to go to sleep at night. There's only one reason that they're going to hire you, folks. It's not your skills. It's not your experience. It's not even who you know. It's not even if they like you. It's if they trust you. And the way we build trust is by vulnerability, as Brene Brown has taught us, and also by making them feel seen, heard, and understood, right? If you can do you see how this is so much more sophisticated than worrying about ATS and, trying to hide your age, all that kind of stuff? I don't need a hole. I'm putting a sanding disc, Scott. So you need a smooth surface. Fair enough. Right. But the point is, hey, Andrea, nice to see you. You booked a call. Look forward to talking to you. Right. And I think you already have that course. So you're going to be all set. Okay, guys, do you see how this is so much more sophisticated than all that other stuff that you've probably been chasing your tail doing, or maybe some of the other things that other programs talk about? That stuff doesn't matter, right? Because if you can get to if you can get them to say that's right, like that's who they're going to hire, right? How can you make them feel seen, heard, and understood? All right, guys, tactic number 5, resumes. And resumes are kind of stupid, and they're sort of the least bad way to do this that we've come up with since Roman times. And realize that resumes are just a communication piece. How we send them, when we send them, where we send them, what they say, what they look like, it all matters. And for goodness sake, you don't want your resume to look like other people, right? So if you've been, I follow best practices when it comes, don't do that, right? We want Andrea's resume to be the most Andrea resume there's ever been. We want Mary Kate's resume to be the most Mary Kate resume there's ever been, right? No best practices when it comes to resume. So for example, there's my resume, and I actually have an updated one now, but you see, I've got like hyperlinks and logos. Okay. And by the way, you're going to want to have evidence on your resume that you're a human. Hey, Kimberly H, we look forward to talking to you. Nice job, Kimberly. Right. Take a look at Kimberly's resume, right? She has that free coaching call. Right. So like we had a client last year at the bottom of her resume. She decided to put 2 truths and a lie. She got 2 offers 2 interviews and 2 offers just because she did that. Brilliant. Lately, we've been doing the 3 things I'm most scared of. That's the kind of stuff you want to give them evidence that you are a human, because that's who humans hire. No more proficient in Microsoft Office, no more executive summaries, no more taking off experience to make yourself small. No more hiding your age. No more taking off the dates of your graduation. Like, stop doing that. All of that destroys trust. All of that makes it harder for you to get hired. Don't do that. All right, guys, here we go. If an application is submitted and there is no follow-up, does it even make a sound? This brings us to follow-up. Some of you apply for jobs and you're like, well, there goes another one. Hope I hear back. And for some reason, you have that accent, right, when you send it. No one knows why. Science hasn't figured it out. Right? You just apply and you're like, hope I hear back, right? Now, some of you might follow up with the recruiter. That's a good idea because they're professionally trained ninjas at keeping you away from the hiring manager. And recruiter, right, that 20-something recruiter, they understand your field of expertise. Of course, no, they don't. They don't. And they have zero interest in getting you to talk to the hiring manager unless they are in charge of that process, because otherwise they don't have a job, or at least they don't get a commission. So don't do any of that. You're going to want to follow up from a place of service. And by the way, when you follow up, the last thing you're going to want to say is, hey, let me tell you how interested I am in this job and why I'd be so good for it. Don't do any of that, right? You're going to follow up instead from a place of service, and you're going to follow up with the hiring manager. Now, some of you are like, but Eric, you dum-dum. Did you just call me dum-dum? Anyhow, it's okay if you did. Eric, I don't know who the hiring manager is. A lot of times they don't put that on the job listing. I hear you, and I got you. I have a course. It's called How to Contact Anybody. I want to give it to you right now. Here's how you get the course, right? Mike does it all the time, says Eric B, right? Here's how you get the course. 1, go to my LinkedIn profile. We're going to put it in the chat right now. There, thanks, Justin Jelly. Go to my LinkedIn profile. You're going to hit follow me or connect with me or whatever, right? Whatever shows up. And then you're going to email me. You're going to use the LinkedIn messaging system. You're going to email me the word chicken. Okay, so the way this works is you're going to go to my LinkedIn profile, you're going to connect with me, and then you're going to email me the word chicken. Just like that, right? And we will send you this course, and then you'll be able to contact anybody, pretty much. And when you contact them, you're not going to just talk all about yourself, right? Because you've been to this workshop, you're going to talk about them. And guys, there's a reason like people reward initiative, right? People are going to believe what you show them much more than you tell them. So you could say, oh, I know how to take initiative. And then you apply and you do nothing, right? It shows them the opposite. What are they going to believe? And some of you are like, oh, but it'd be too pushy. Hey, Vanessa V, you booked a call, right? If you were in the boat and somebody were floating face down in the water, you wouldn't be like, hey, buddy, are you okay? And they didn't move. And you'd be like, don't want to bug them. I might upset. No, you jump in the water, you spin them over, you start doing mouth to mouth. If they were like, lady, I was just snorkeling, you'd be like, my bad. And you'd be willing to offend in the name of service. Same thing with job searching, guys. All right, guys, next tactic. Here we go. Networking. Some of you have seen the Academy Awards. It's coming up, right? And some big movie star gets up there. She's won a big prize, and she gets up there and she's like, nah, I got nobody to thank. And it's sort of awkward. And they're like, oh. No, she gets up there and she's like, I got to thank this person and this person. They're trying, the music's playing. When we do great things, we often don't do them alone. We do them with others. And by the way, asking for help. You want to give a gift this holiday season? Ask 10 people for help. Have you ever helped somebody? How's it feel? Feels great. You'll be giving that gift to those 10 people just by asking for help. It's a great, tremendous gift. Those of you who like, hey, Devin, we look forward to talking to you. Nice job, Devin. Those of you who've been like, well, I don't want to put open to work on my LinkedIn banner because that might look needy. Stop it. First of all, that's all about you. And second of all, it doesn't make you look needy. It makes people who ask for help are strong, not weak. A lot of times when people join our program, we give them systems for doing this. This alone. And by the way, no more one-offs, right? Because that's like, you know, I got to get the right bait on the right fish and the right day at the right depth. I mean, whew, good Lord, right? We want to have a system to filter the ocean. The ocean is our entire network. We're not going to pre-curate. Oh, well, that person couldn't help me. Stop it. You don't know that, right? We want to filter the ocean. Asking for help is a gift. You want to systematize it. It's one of the things we do in our program. It gets people hired real damn fast. All right, guys, let's talk about offers or interviews rather. All right, here's the best interview advice in the world. Here we go. Are you ready? Buckle up. I'm about to deliver the interview advice. Please prepare yourself. Don't answer their questions. If you've been spending a lot of time and energy worried about answering their questions, don't do that. Now, if it's a technical interview and they're asking you what 1 + 1 is, you can say 2. And even for a technical interview, they're really only asking one question in any interview. And that question is this one. Can we trust you? Can we trust? That's it, right? If we were in that, there was a movie about this. If we were in the world where everybody just tells the truth, right? We could go sit down for an interview and be like, hey, can we trust you? No, not really. I'm kind of a jerk. Okay, great. Thanks for coming in, right? Interviews would be great, but that is not the world we live in, right? When they ask a question, well, tell me about your greatest professional achievement. They're really just asking, can we trust you, right? If we had like a universal translator, we'd be like, tell me about a time you took a risk at work and be, can we trust you? So rather than answering their questions, you might as well just spend your time answering questions or giving answers that help build trust and telling stories that do the same. This is how you get hired fast. You know, a lot of times people join our program and they've gotten interviews. They don't have trouble getting interviews, but they get right to the end and then it's always a no. It's because they don't trust you. And it's nothing personal, right? Hey, Kenneth, hey, you booked a call, right? Some of you, like Kenneth, are booking calls. And the only reason you're booking calls right now is because you've decided you trust me. That's it. It's not my skills. It's not my experience, right? It's none of that. It's that you decide you trust me. So this is nothing personal, right? Employers will do the same. So you're going to want to build trust. That's how you get hired fast. All right, guys, let's talk about offers. 2 things when it comes to offers. 2 important ideas. 1, when you look through jobs, you don't have to worry if you want or if you're qualified for the job. They will let you know after you apply or during the interview process, right? I mean, it's sort of fine, but you don't have to worry about it. And 2, you don't have to worry if you want the job. Unless and until they slide a piece of paper across the desk or send you an email with the offer, I mean, it's perfectly natural to wonder if you want the job. And unless until you get the offer, it is optional. Because it's not until that point that you don't know what you're saying that you yes or no to. So offers, apply liberally from a place of service, right? Sometimes I'll talk to potential job seekers. I'm like, how many jobs you're applying to? They're like, well, I'm really particular. I'm like, why on earth? That'd be like being in the boat and there's a a lake full of drowning people and you're like, I'm particular about who I'm going to save. I mean, that would just be kind of ridiculous. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. So guys, here it is. Write this down. 4 strategies, 9 tactics. This is how you get hired fast right here. If in case you were wondering, do you see how this is different than a lot of the stuff? Hey, Danny A, we look forward to talking to you. Do you see how this is different than a lot of stuff you've heard before? Thank you for noticing. This is not stuff that you're going to be able to Google because this is not stuff that's Googleable. This is stuff I've come up with on my own. It's helped a couple thousand people get hired fast. It continues to do so today. And this stuff actually works better as the world has become increasingly more automated. 1, because the world's increasingly more automated, and 2, because more and more people are buying into just, well, I just have to trick the ATS. Great. More jobs for us, right? Now, some of you are like, well, I'm going to wait till the end. I'm going to wait till next year to get some help. Or maybe you've been doing that for the last 6 months or a year. Often people that attend this workshop, I'm starting to hear from them now, the ones that attended this in June, I'm starting to hear from them like, Eric, I still don't have a job. I'm like, well, show me what you've been doing. See, I'm making it about them. I'm like, nah, it's not about them. It's about you, or it's about the drill, right? And then they sign up for the program and they get hired in 3 months or less often. Okay. Waiting and thinking about it is expensive. Like sometimes I'll talk to people and they're like, well, I want to think about it. I'm like, well, what will be different after you've thought about it? Well, I don't know. Right. I'll just feel safer. Okay. But here's what I want to show you. If this is your annual salary, that's how much it's costing you per month to be on the job hunt. That's how much it's costing you per week. Being unemployed is expensive. There's an opportunity cost. Like I mentioned, I got a program. It works. It's awesome. Comes with one-on-one coaching, group coaching, a course. It comes with, we send you job leads, right? We cover the whole thing. We talk about if you're not sure what you want to do, or it's your LinkedIn profile, or you feel you've got trauma from the last job, or maybe it's you think your resume is terrible, or your cover letter, or your follow-up is non-existent, or your networking is non-existent, or you're terrible in interviews, or you just don't know how to negotiate offers. A lot of times people pay for this program just in us helping them negotiate the offers, which they actually get, right? Here are some of the people that have done this program. We're going to get to Q&A here in a sec, guys. I promise, right? Jessie was a nonprofit executive. She got like a couple of offers in the program before she said yes. It was awesome, right? She kept like sort of saying, do I have to accept it? I'm like, no. And she didn't. Same thing with Wayne. Wayne got a couple of offers. Rob was a guy that lived overseas, and when he was like, I don't want to come back to the States and job search for 6 months. He didn't. He had a job waiting for him when he got here. Amy was somebody who'd kept going through interviews, and she kept getting right to the end and kept getting no's. John was a CEO that we found a job. Philip was an early professional. We got placed, right? You already met Angel, right? We got lots of data. Now, look, guys, I'm going to give you some data, fully knowing that people don't make data-driven decisions, okay? But for those of you that insist, here it is, right? The vast majority of people that join this program get hired in 3 months. For some, it's 4. And there's a few outliers. They sort of don't do the work, or, if somebody gets sick, or, sometimes people are like, oh, I want to start my own business. But the vast majority of people, they get hired in 3 months or less. Those are the numbers right there. Guys, you don't want to be looking back in March or April in the same position you're in because you've been doing the same thing, right? The opportunity is to take action now before the end of the year. Like I say, we have a end of the year special. It's awesome right now. It's like a $1,500 discount. All right. You want to do something different than you've been doing to get different results than you've been getting in the new year. So multiple payment plans available, right? If you're willing to get financing, it's a little over $300 a month. And I think with the deal, it's actually a little bit less than $300 a month. And then you pay off the balance when you're done. Be thankful. I never get feedback. Yeah. So Morris D, you booked a call. And guys, we're going to, I see there's some questions. Hey, Morris D, you booked a call. Nice job, Morris. Right. So like, we place 100% of people that stick with this program, right? If you join this program, well, first of all, those of you who've booked a call, right? If we don't think we can help you, we'll tell you that you're just going to have a great coaching call. It's going to be fine. And for those of you who, hey, Ronald, nice job, man. We look forward to talking to you. For those of you who book a call, like, if we offer to work with you, like, we're going to keep working with you until you get the job. That's what we do. And usually it's 3 months or less. A lot of receipts on this, a lot of receipts. So again, guys, if you haven't already booked a call and you'd like to, the rules are you're not going to book a call and cancel. My team's not that big. These are real people that have real lives, right? They jump on these calls to serve people. Don't book a call and cancel. How do you like it when like recruiters like, hey, we're going to have you an interview. Now it's canceled, right? Don't do that. Be the change you seek. You're at least open to investing yourself, right? You're like, hey, I want somebody to pay me $100,000, but I don't want to invest in myself. At least be open to the idea. And again, it's really affordable. Like I said, you're ready to get started now. And if nothing else, you're just wanting to get some great coaching. All of those are good reasons. That's what it looks like to book a call. A lot of you already have. That's the link. So glad to have you here, guys. And I've got some time, and I'm going to show you the full girth of my gigantic head so you can really appreciate it. Let's take some questions, because I thought I saw that we had some. We've got a kind of a smaller crowd today, so there may not be a ton of questions. But here we go. So resume services. Yeah, so the thing about resume services, William, I'm not a big fan of having other people write your resume, and here's why. It's sort of like what Eisenhower said. He said, battle plans are useless and battle planning is indispensable, right? There is benefit in you being the one that writes your resume and you getting your hands around it, making it your own. So that when you get into that interview and they ask you about something, it's not like, oh, that's on my resume. And by the way, when we have somebody else write a resume, it just takes away from the Williamness of your resume. So I'm not a fan. I know a lot of resume writers. My experience is, and by the way, I'd rather teach you how to fish, because if a good resume is about them, you're never going to send the same resume to more than one person. So it's not like you're going to have the one resume, because at least, hey, Regan, nice job, Regan. We look forward to talking to you, right? So not a fan of resume writers. Just my personal opinion. All right, what else we got here, guys? Hi, Jacob. Why should I tailor when they won't even get it? Jacob, there's a lot in this one. Okay? So first of all, you don't have to should. We don't want to shoulds, right? We don't want to should ourselves. We don't want to should the bed, our yard. Definitely. So there's no shoulds here. It's like, why do I want to tailor the resume when they won't even give me a minute of time? So, this is about service, right? So Jacob, we can be an owner or a victim. And this isn't specific to you, Jacob. This is everybody. Hey, Tanya, we look forward to talking to you, Tanya. Nice job, Tanya. Yes. Right. So we can walk around and be like, well, they won't give me a minute at a time, so I'm going to take my ball and go home. Or we can be like, hey, I understand you're not giving me time, and I'm willing to serve you anyway. Right. The way we build trust is not by living in a world of, well, it's unfair. We build trust by being the first white. If it's two gunfighters, wah, wah, wah. We build trust by being the first one to lower our pistol. Now, we might get shot, or that other guy might lower their pistol, and now these guys are brothers for life. You think they're going to hire each other? Of course they are. That's what I'd say to that. Hopefully that makes sense, Jacob. Love these questions, man. You guys are a small and mighty crowd. Let's keep it going. All right. What other questions do we have? What's the difference? Dan says, what's the difference between a resume and a CV? Yeah, I mean, it depends who you ask. A CV it stands for curriculum vitae, right? It's more of it tends to be in academia. It tends to have a section of publications. It tends to be a little bit longer. They're really the same thing. It's really just some pieces of paper that people send people when they're looking for a job or a fellowship or sometimes a program, right? And the opportunity is to make your CV or your resume such that the person or organization you're sending it to sees possibility for themselves. That's how you get hired fast. And that's what we help people do in this program. All right. It sounds like Jacob didn't like my answer. Sorry, Jacob. All right, let's see here. Amy A booked a call. Nice job. All right, what else do we have here? Mary Kate. Okay. It's hard to customize my lengthy CV for each company. Should I focus on the cover letter? So love that question, Mary Kate. It could be hard, or it could be that you just don't have a system for doing it, right? I suspect there were many things that were maybe hard. I have some kids. Well, one of them's a little guy. He's still learning to tie his shoe, right? And it's hard because he doesn't have a system, right? And so once you learn to tie your shoe, it's not hard, like so many things. So it might not be hard. It could just be that you don't have a system for doing it. And same thing with your cover letter, right? So the opportunity is you're going to want to have a system for making the stuff you send to people, make it about them so they can see possibility for themselves in your stuff. That's how you get hired. Yeah, that's what I'd say, Mary Kate. All right, what other questions do we have? All right, Eric B. Should we focus more on asking questions about them? Oh, good Lord. Okay, what are your main? So we don't want to have any expectations, right? Because expectations are just kind of like some stuff I made up, and I'm hoping they made up some stuff, and maybe we got lucky. So no expectations, no shoulds. But so I guess if I could rephrase your question, Eric, do we want to focus more on questions about them? What do you want me to do in the first 5 weeks of the program? See, but I just want you to notice, Eric, that's all about you. See, what do you want me to do in the first 5 weeks? See, that's all about you. I just want you to hear it. It's slippery. As opposed to saying, gosh, what do you hope happens in the first 5 weeks after you hire somebody? See, that would be all about them. And it sounds like it's almost the same, and it's a world of difference, because what do you want me to do? Right? What are your expectations of me? That's all about, and I'm like, well, geez, that guy seems really worried about, where if I say, hey, what would be awesome when you hire this person? What would be awesome to happen in the first 5 weeks? Now it's all about them. Slight difference means all the world. All the world. Yeah, you bet. Hey, Jinam booked a call. We look forward to seeing you, Jinam. Hopefully, and it looks like Amy booked a call. I don't want to miss any of these people who booked calls. Yeah, I got you, Eric. All right, guys. What other questions do we have? You guys are such a great crowd. Asim, what do you do if they already have more than 80 applicants to the job you're looking for? Well, first of all, there's no way to know that, right? And I know LinkedIn has that counter, and nobody knows what that means. Right? That could be people who've actually click the link. It could just be complete and total bullshit, right? Amazon does the same thing, and it doesn't matter, because this is sort of like people are saying, well, the industry is tough right now. Guys, job hunting is not a macroeconomic issue. It's a microeconomic issue, right? You're not applying to an industry or an economy. You're applying to that person sitting in front of you who's drowning. And it's the same thing, right? There could be 80 boats in the water, but if they're not the boats that person is looking for to rescue them out of the water, it doesn't matter. How many other applicants there are doesn't matter, because see, guys, that's about them. We want to just focus on the employer, because there's a good chance that all 80 of those other applicants are all just talking about themselves. Fabulous, right? Let's be the one applicant that talks about them. We don't have to worry about the 80. At least that's what my clients experience. All right, let's see if there's more questions here. Let's see here. Let's see. Is that Mariella booked a call? Nice to see you, Mariella. Nice to meet you. Okay, what's another question we've got here? My team, you guys are doing a fantastic job. Let's see what other questions we have. Right? These guys are asking good questions today. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. I'm looking back through questions. Sometimes, guys, sometimes people worry about age in it when they're applying for job stuff. And I haven't seen that question yet. I just want to address it. Guys, they're not really worried about your age. And I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of isms out there. Racism, sexism, ableism, a lot of isms. None of it's fair. And the real reason they're going to hire you or not, like I mentioned, is just, do they trust you? That's the whole ball game, guys. So the opportunity for you in your job search is to focus on that. You want to get different results than in 2026 than you've been getting in 2025. Focus on that and watch the miracles happen. And guys, look, like I mentioned, we sort of had a small and mighty crowd today. I just want to acknowledge you for being here. I see Deborah's got one more question. We'll end with Deborah. Tell us about setting yourself up for success while interviewing. Top 3 tips. Yeah, Deborah, it's sort of like just talk about them. So if you get in there and they say, tell me about yourself, you're like, absolutely, I'll tell you about yourself. So I'll do it with you, Deborah, right now. So if Deborah said, tell us more about you, Eric, I'd be like, Deborah, thanks for asking. Deborah, one thing that stands out about you is you stayed to the end of this workshop. And I can't remember if you booked a call or not. I hope you have. But regardless, I just acknowledge you for being here. I said I there. That was a slip, right? Just want to acknowledge you for being here. And it just shows that you're the kind of person who takes your career seriously, that's not messing around. And that is rare and valuable, especially the week before Christmas, regardless of what you celebrate. It's inspiring, Deborah. And I mean all that too, Deborah. But see how you asked me about me and I didn't say much about me at all? You probably don't even remember your question because I made it all about you. That's the opportunity. All right, guys. So acknowledge you for being here. Such a great crowd. My friends, look, if you've been struggling in your job search, please know you don't have to keep doing this alone, right? There's bright things on the horizon for you. If you're looking for help with this stuff, like come talk to us. No strings, complimentary, and confidential. And if we don't think we can help you, we'll tell you. And if we think we can, we'll take a stand for you. But at least you won't be doing this alone. You'll be doing something different than you've been doing to get different results than you've been doing. And that is a worthy cause, guys. I really acknowledge you all for being here. Bright things on the horizon for you. Take care, my friends. Hope you have the chance to meet you.
Well, first, will you tell us your name?
Jeff Borker. I just want to thank all of you guys. I've really
I didn't know how fast this was going to work. And you guys have all been great. I mean, all the feedback that I've gotten from you and from Eric and from Diana and the group as a whole is very supportive, very, very uplifting. Everyone's willing to help out. And it's just been a great experience. It's something that I won't forget. It's something that I'm going to take a lot of these concepts into my work activity. The job that I'm going into really is a dream job for me. I was just like, this is something I have to do because 2.5 years of doing the same thing, again, nothing was working. I was getting rejections, I was getting ghosted, but I would say put any predispositions away, go into it with an open mind, do the webinar, do the introductory call, and really just do it because it works.
My name is Charlotte Jones. I got a new position and I got hired pretty fast in the last month of being with Win at Work. So I have been searching for a job for a little over 7 months, and I've been at Win at Work for just a month, for about 40 days. So I do really like the one-on-one time that I get with a coach or a career coach, counselor. And I also like that interaction and listening to the successes and the stories of how someone might be thinking about their job search or how they might want to present themselves during interview, what may work and what hasn't worked. And I like to hear those stories from others because I found that I was having some of the same experiences. And then really when it came down to getting an offer and being able to connect with Eric directly and really get that one-on-one coaching, that was truly helpful. I felt like that was a white glove service that was worth, getting involved with and connecting with Win at Work.
Hi, I'm Mason Fisk, and I live outside of Boston currently. Before I joined, ironically, my interviews were actually high, and then my applications were low. I was really looking for something that was very hands-on. I was someone who, again, I felt like I always could figure things out myself, not doing them correctly. But then once I got into the program, it was kind of the opposite. Like, yes, it was casting a wider net, but at the same time, it was being very thorough. It really is all about your network. Broaden my network, really put myself out there because I'm someone who is very keen on thinking I could do everything myself and I know what I'm doing, but sometimes you don't know everything. And that's really how the success for me came out of this program. I have a job offer starting on Monday. Again, without that guidance, I probably would have fumbled it. Again, if you're hesitant for any reason, I have to say it's worth every penny at the end of the day. Eric does know what he's doing. He's created a great program that really hits all points during the entire job application process. The courses are, very thorough, giving tips and tricks and guidance on how to negotiate and get through those stages once you have an offer. And for me personally, I was able to get 25% more than I was previously making. Again, within almost 3 months, I'm back to work. So
I started job searching a month before I started the program. It took me between 6 months and a year since COVID to find contract jobs. So when I got the notification, the Win at Work, get hired fast, it was called Get Hired Fast email, I just knew immediately this was the way to go to quicken the time. I immediately jumped on this because in the past, it had just taken so long to find work and find the right kind of work. I mean, I've had in my career a couple of really horrible contracts, and I knew my biggest problem in getting hired was first my resume. I felt comfortable about interviewing with companies. The interviews I was not worried about. It really was the resume. Doing that master resume from beginning to end with everything on it was incredibly freeing. I joined on 5/29 on an 8/11. I had not only a job offer, but the job offer that I wanted. And that was incredible. When I got immersed in this whole program, there are so many great things here. Just learning all these new tools and tips. And it was the power hours. They were boosters. And I love the fact that they had a theme every week as you were, going through this process. And it was just so comforting to have that. And then the individual coaching sessions, those were great.
Path, man. Keep on the path. All right, we're getting a bigger crowd now. It's so nice. Tell me who else has something to share. Yeah, Kay, talk to us.
So I went off camera a few minutes ago because I just got an offer from my dream job and my dream company. So real time, it happened. just now. So on, thanks, Eric.